then anything they get is a plus from that point on.
Right.
Which is why you have some leverage.
Exactly. And then if they do in turn send it off to one of these credit agencies, which they want to try to recoup somehow. So they send it off these credit agencies. Sometimes they give the account away for free. Sometimes they sell it for 1 to 7 cents on the dollar. And then obviously the credit agency, the strong arm, I kind of call them the fear mafia, if you will, tries to make you feel bad and get you to pay the whole account. But what you don't know is that they've bought this thing at 1 or 2 or what, cents on the dollar, right?
Correct. And a lot of times it's a contingency fee.
Okay.
They turn it over to the collection agency on a contingent basis. So one of the reasons that the collection agencies use strong arm tactics is because the more they collect, the more they get paid. It's not always so much the creditor, but the collection agency itself wants to make money. So the way they want to make money is collect the most they can.
Right, so they collect the most they can. And even if they collect, let's say they bought it for 1 cent on the dollar, and they're able to get it for 15 cents on the dollar, they've made money and they're happy.
That's correct.
Right.
That's correct.
Now, from what I understand, I know a lot of people talk about debt consolidation. And when I went through it the first time, and actually this is not the first time, I've gone through it more than once. So the reason I'm wanting to bring this knowledge to you is that my second time through was a whole lot easier. I wasn't afraid. I wasn't doing the he's out of the state now.
There's a lot of fear.
Yeah, the fear was gone. As a matter of fact, I just saw a movie about Genghis Khan just the other night, and it was interesting because back then they didn't understand thunder and lightning. They thought it was the god when he was angry. And there's a scene at the end where, well, not at the end, but at the end of this episode, where Genghis Khan has conquered Mongolia. He's got pretty much the whole entire army, and his so-called blood brother, blood brother that way, was a guy that's rescued him when he was a kid, said to him, there's a final scene in the battle where thunder is just going off, and everybody is in terror. They're all hiding under their shields except Genghis Khan, and he's riding proud on his horse. Look, and his men look at him. He's got his sword up, and they all go, ah! And they go and they conquer the army. Well, his brother in the final scene of the movie, they're sitting down, and he said, "Let me ask you a question." He said, "Why is it that you aren't afraid of the thunder?" And he said, "Because when I had to hide out in the open, all I had was the thunder, and that fear disappeared." So my second time through, there was no fear. Was able to deal with this without any problems, and I found myself negotiating again, getting, in my case, 14 cents on the dollar of, again, $80,000 in debt, just waived at 14 cents on the dollar. So going back to the fear, they use fear to manipulate you to try to get as much as they can, right? So now if you, but that's
we're talking about consolidation.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah, the second time that I went through that, I was trying to assess my options. What would be the best way to approach this? And so I called somebody that actually is starting a bank for entrepreneurs. He's part of our team. He was actually our chief training officer, and he sits on the board of the Manchester Development Group, which is out in Las Vegas, and they're starting a bank for entrepreneurs and investors. And so I called them up and I said, "Listen, I'm looking at some different options here. What should I do? What if I do debt consolidation?" And he said to me, "You don't want to do that." He says, "Because that will hurt your credit more if you go to some debt consolidation company than if you were to just barter and work with the creditors themselves." Am I right? Or?
Well, the issue with debt consolidation is think about what debt consolidation is: taking all the debts and putting them in one, and now you have to borrow money to get the debt, the
still
loan.
have to make the payments.
Still make the payments. Well,
Right.
first of all, if you don't have the credit to pay your creditors, how are you going to have the credit to get the debt consolidation in the first place?
Right, which some of these agencies try to convince you if
Right,
you can pull all these into one
right.
location.
And now you've got the same thing. You've got to make a minimum payment on all the money. Yes, it's to one, and you don't have all the people calling you, and that is a benefit.
Right.
However, you're looking at a completely extensive period of time, and I'm assuming that if you're in a position where you need to bring down your debt, you don't have the resources to pay that debt.
Right.
So it sounds good, but in the real world, it just doesn't seem to work.
And they're making money too.
Yes, of course. Right.
And it's not, mind you, there's nothing wrong with making money. You're providing a legitimate product.
It's
a
like
legitimate
remortgaging
service.
your house, and we know in this financial world, many people who've refinanced their house, what's happened to them? They're just in more debt.
They're in more debt, and the person that did the job got a little bit more money, and that's okay. It's okay to earn money. I mean, a lot of people try to run around for free and